All right, shortcuts. Video 2 for March 8th is classic rock, punk, hardcore, metal, and some new wave. There you go. Look, I could not figure out where to start. Do I start with Tumbleweed Connection? Do I start with Sabotage? No. I have to start here. Highway 61 Revisited. Bob Dylan. Now, this is the 1970 repress. Really sought after. Very, very expensive on Discogs. Has some beautiful liner notes as well. They're kind of psychedelic and rather wonderful. The same pressing I have is on my shelf. What I like about this pressing of this record is its immediateness. It's a very, unlike my Aussie copy that I keep purely for sentimentality, because one of the first records I bought. This opens up the sound stage and gives you so much more to latch on to. Tombstone Blues, or one of my favourite Dylan songs, Ballad of a Thin Man, or the guitar work of Al Cooper on Queen Jane, approximately. The only acoustic song, of course, on this Dylan's sixth and very transitional record is the last song, Desolation Row. And what a song that is. 9 songs, every single one of them is a stone cold, knock it out the park classic. And, I think he spent most of his career trying to match this record, and I'm not sure he ever did. Yeah. Anyway, I love it. And it's a great pressing, so someone's going to be very happy. Talking about great pressings, I always love it when I find, as you know, the red translucent vinyl, because that means it's a first press, and in this case it's a first press of Elton John's third record, Tumbleweed Connection, which was his first record where he embraced Americana and that big land across the Atlantic Ocean. Ballad of a Well-Known Gun, Son of Your Father, Burn Down the Mission. What I also love is you get this rather wonderful book that collects the lyrics in very kind of, what's the right phrase, kind of sepia tones. Look at these images. It's great condition. There's a little bit of damage there, but it's pretty great. Wonderful hard cardboard gatefold. It's got to be right up there with Elton John's best. Certainly, its reputation has it's really only grown through the years, and the production on this record is really, really good. I really like the drum sound. It's very prominent, and it veers away from the somewhat saccharine sound of some of Elton John's records at the time, and I love it. It's really, really good. I think as an Elton John fan, he's going to be very happy with that too. Now, Sabbath's first 6 records are often considered the greatest run of, 6 albums or more. You might just call it their 70s run, from the self-titled through Vol 4, Masters of Reality, Paranoid, etc. But the 5th and 6th records are almost, I think, undervalued these days. People and I mean rightfully, put Paranoid, Vol 4, and Master of Reality in the spotlight. And of course, you should. They're awesome. But these records, Sabotage and Technical Ecstasy, on the mighty Vertigo label, these are both Japanese hard cardboard gatefold first presses. They should not be denied, especially Sabotage. Rolling Stone at the time reviewed Sabotage and said that it may well be Black Sabbath's greatest record. And I think there is some merit in that, because it's the first time that they started to experiment a little bit beyond maybe, the odd ballad. They really did embrace some new instrumentation. And some of the songs became less predictable. And therefore, as you listen to them now, through a lens that's more historical than, I guess, contemporary, you can feel the tension in the band. And it's produced great music. It obviously may not be as lauded as some of those earlier records, but I would argue they are absolutely fantastic records and well worth your time. And these Japanese Vertigo presses are sought after for a reason, because they sound wonderful. Now, this next record does not fit the Shortcuts mold in pretty much any way, but I don't care. Now, about a year ago, I caught wind that one of my favorite records of the kind of 90s and 2000s, the Dandy Warhol's 13 Tales from Urban Bohemia, had a coloured press that had stunning reviews. And could I find it? No. Impossible. I could not find it anywhere other than paying through the absolute nose and using that large 6-figure distributor named after a South American river. And I thought, you know what? No. And then, like the proverbial bus, I find one at a pretty good price point, and then a second one pops up almost immediately. It's still sealed. You can see here, sealed, coloured vinyl, double LP. I saw the Dandy Warhols in Tottenham Court Road, Astoria, at the time that this record came out, and I didn't know them. I was invited by a fan, by a friend, and I always say yes when someone invites me to a gig. So I went along knowing nothing about them, and I stared at them, realizing, of course, that they were ultimate tryhards. The keyboard player, beautiful but stony face with this kind of a double beat dance style, no engagement with the audience. The lead singer and guitarist, who I found out later, I think it's called Courtney Taylor, don't ask me why, louche, and obviously a big Mick Jagger fan, but playing the rock star so hard, and everyone else in the band kind of floating in some ethereal distance. But the songs were great. This record is one of the best records from the last 10, 15 years. Actually, I can't remember how old it was. Now, let me double check. Gosh, it's 2000. Jesus. It's a brilliant album. Godless, the opening acoustic guitar stream, and then the kind of the rhythm coming in. Mohammed and Nietzsche, the two other songs on side one, are almost kind of, think of them as like David Bowie, Diamond Dogs era, hard rocking, almost glam rock songs. And then, you know, Get Off and Bohemian Like You are some of the best examples of guitar pop from the 2000s. The whole album's brilliant. If you don't have it, listen to it on Spotify, and then you're gonna want this. And it's kind of this off purple vinyl. Oh man, it blew me away. It sounds so good. Anyway, the Dandy Warhols. Of course, after that, I went back and explored a bunch of Dandy Warhols, Come Down and Welcome to the Doghouse, etc. And I realised they are a brilliant band. But that 13 Tales of Urban Bohemia, if someone said to me, you know, there's the proverbial gun to the temple McNulty, what's your favourite album of the 2000s? You know, if I was under pressure and it popped into my mind, I wouldn't feel too bad about saying it. This old favourite. It's been ages since I nabbed one of these brilliant Japanese hard cardboard Beatles compilations. This one's pretty cheap. It's pretty good condition. It's a staple. It's great. Now this I can tell you I've never had before. I do have a soft spot for punk and some kind of oi punk, and this is the Exploited. I love the. Now there's a mohawk. Live at the White House. No, it wasn't. But anyway, just a absolute blast of energy and attitude. He sounds like my 10-year-old. All right. Classic. This is classic rock. Cosmos Factory, Japanese hard cardboard gate press on the Liberty label. Do I need to say anything about Cosmos Factory? I'm going to save it for this. Squawk by Budgie. Now, a few weeks back, I had In for the Kill by Budgie. Squawk is Budgie's second record, still a classic three-piece from the time. But you know, and kind of there they are. This one's got a little bit more subtle bird kind of iconography on the cover. Very bass-driven, high-quality riffage. If you know Squawk, if you know Budgie, you know how great Squawk is. The good thing is this is now on Spotify. Put it on, turn it up, and become a Budgie fan. Now, we've had punk, we've had 70s hard rock. Let's go for it. Let's get some Sepultura Arise out. Look at these guys. The record that bust them out of Brazil and made them global icons of thrash, hardcore metal. You know, I kind of think of it like, you know, I have the image in my mind when Sepultura are on at you know, Ear Bleeding Volumes is someone going into your bathroom and smashing your bathroom to bits whilst quoting the Book of Revelations while they're doing it. Except pretty better than that. I'm not sure that's a comparison that Sepultura will feel happy about. But you know, it's not my scene, but I can appreciate it. If you got songs called Dead Embryonic Cells and Meaningless Movements and Infected Voice, you're probably a bit upset. And so these dudes are angry and they're loud. And, you know, Max Cavalera and the guys, you certainly know they're around. Now for something very, very different. I love this band. The Raspberries, Power Pop, Eric Carmen. This is their second record, Fresh. In their top two, I'd say. I'm not sure it's their best, but it's wonderful. The opening sugar rush of I Want to Be With You is still, I mean, it's like, let's distill every angle that I can put a hooky earworm into your brain and let's put it into 2.5 minutes. And that still doesn't quite get you to I Want to Be With You. Let's pretend, probably maybe the next tier down, but not far behind. This is as brilliant as Beach Boys. They're just, yeah. Look, I mean, on the sleeve with their matching suits, they look a little bit like Shawadi Wadi or some kind of proto glam band. But the smiles are too wholesome. They're good boys, and they just want to play a power pop. And I imagine you take one of the Raspberries home, and your mother would love them. I'm not sure that's the case about Paul Weller. I think Paul Weller's prickly no matter what. Setting Suns, of course, being, I think it was their fourth album, and it's kind of it was meant to be a concept album of three friends who separate, go off, and then return together, a couple of decades later and realize that nothing's the same. Oh, kill surprise. But it's really well produced, kind of quite a harder production. One of their more consistent records, up there with all Mod Cons. The obvious highlight being Eton Rifles. What a song that is. Anyway, there you have it. Metal, hardcore, punk, power pop, classic rock. You can't go wrong, can you? I'm sure there's something in there that caught your eye. If so, keep an eye out for the list on Wednesday, as always, and thank you for watching.